Good evening, friends. Welcome to another True Grit show, the RK show. And today I have a dear friend of mine, Budi Francesco, a EPA engineer, but more importantly, a wonderful human being, a great musician, and a fantastic storyteller. Budi, a hearty welcome to you. Welcome to True Grit, the RK show. And today we are in conversation with you about your unique journey from where you started in Indonesia to where we are together here in the United States and what happens in the middle. And let me welcome you and let me give you a few minutes to talk about yourself and introduce yourself. Over to you.
Hi, good evening, Rajat. What a good introduction. What a great introduction. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm originally from Indonesia, born in 1967 in Indonesia in the island of Sumatra in the city of Medan. So that's for the start of it. And then, like Rajat say, my life has brought me to across several countries until I come all the way to United States. And then I think we are going to talk about those journey and in whatever way that we hope that can inspire other people, a young generation, to to believe in themselves, to have goals in their life, and then believe in themselves to reach that goal. So I think that's probably my introduction for.
Born in the island of Sumatra, Indonesia
Yep.
happens to be the world's largest archipelago or the largest group of islands which form a nation. And
Mm.
each island is a very unique island in its own, although it belongs to the country called Indonesia, but not one island is similar to the other. There is differences in
Correct.
language, there's differences in people, the ethnicity, the religion as well. Bali is
Right.
more Hinduist, a lot of Hinduism from the olden times. It's a Muslim nation primarily, but a lot of
Right.
Chinese immigrants. And
Correct.
you are from the Chinese descent, and your family happens to be from Indonesia. So, what's that story? How come a Chinese descent family in Indonesia capture that aspect of it for me?
The story begin when my during all those World War II, the Chinese war with Japan, where my grandfather decided to leave China because of the communism takeover in China. So my grandfather has to leave everything in China and then just by himself travel to Indonesia. I mean, as a refugee, go to Indonesia to fight his own life. I guess to start a new life in Indonesia, and then living in Indonesia as a Chinese is not has its advantage, a disadvantage as well, right? So we are newcomers. We need to adapt to the Indonesian society, but like every community, the Chinese people tend to stick together as well, and then build this community. And then I guess in that rough time in the past, after the war, there are not many understanding about each other culture, and then that gets contribute to the separation of different community in Indonesia.
Yeah,
So
and that's where I want to take a pause on it and probe you a little bit further because if I were to, and I don't want to sound like, skin color or face expressions and everything, but one would assume that in South Asia and in that part of the world, mostly people kind of look and seem the same in terms of you can't make out the segregation between skin color, etc. Most of them look and feel the same. I've traveled to, of course, Indonesia, China, as well as Malaysia, etc. There is small differences. Only the language can kind of betray you, but
right,
otherwise But how was it like? You kind of are hitting on something important, that as a refugee, your grandfather, or as a settler into a new country, your grandfather tried to bring in others who settled down, but there was some kind of a divide. What is that divide,
Right.
and how did you face it in your early
No,
years? What
for
happened?
at the beginning when I was young, I don't really feel that difference because um, we are living also very close to the Indonesian community. And then me as a kid, I mean, in that time where we were young, there is not much technology like today. So the only busy things to do as a kid is to just run around outside in the field, in the paddy fields, and then just play around with all those kids around you, right? There's just no difference at all for us. I mean, like I said, there are a little bit different how you look the Chinese face or the Indonesian. They're a little bit different, but for us that is a grown up Indonesian, we have also a lot of sun, so we are dark as well. We are almost the same like the Indonesian people. So yeah, so it's a very slight difference, but how we live in our community, that's create that difference. I mean how we celebrate, how we talk in Indonesia, in Chinese. I mean, at that point, in that time, there is no restriction not to speak your language as well. Um, that changed a bit after you remember the communists tried to take over in Indonesia in the era of President Sukarno, and then there was a
Sukarno.
coup by the military to purge the communists out of the country. At that point, the Chinese was tend to see as a loyal to China in Indonesia. So it is becomes a very difficult situation. So at that point,
How
uh,
were you treated? You were going to school at that time, I suppose. You were in
right, I'm
elementary
at
school.
school. I mean, before that, or even when I was until I'm the first grade, second grade, elementary school, I don't see that difference of between me and the Indonesian. But then one experience that make me see the differences when I was, when I like to explore the neighborhood with my bicycle, and then I ride bicycle even far away from my uh, neighborhood. And then I was close to a Indonesian neighborhood, and I see all the kids, Indonesian kids, and then suddenly they start shouting like Chinaman, Chinaman to me, and then at the end they just drag me down off the bicycle and then beat me up, and I was so surprised at that point. I mean, why are they doing this to me, right?
As a
So
child, you couldn't understand why this was
right,
happening, even between
right,
children. I was
yes,
in elementary school, and it was so stark that there was segregation happening
right,
with a small child, and
right.
almost like bullying for no fault of yours. This
Yeah,
was a
that
very
is
unique
really
situation at
something
a
that is really make me to think, wow, this we really are different. I mean, how does they see me is totally different. Even I don't have those feeling towards them. I say, oh, now I need to be careful around Indonesian. I mean, the native Indonesian. So that is the
native.
thing that I really recognize, and then doesn't feel very good since my childhood to have those feelings. So and then
Uh,
and after that it's just getting reinforced by all the things growing up. You notice that all the Chinese always has to be careful, and then the government, because of all these communist things, doesn't allow Chinese to be spoken in the public anymore, and you cannot learn. Normally when my brother was a little bit older, uh, he has learned Chinese. He has learned to write, to speak, and in the school they can freely speak Chinese and write Chinese. And when I was in elementary school, I don't have that opportunity anymore because the government forbid it to teach Chinese. So you see, between my brother and me, my brother is still today fluent in Chinese, and I am not even have that Chinese knowledge because of all these.
But you can speak in the local language bhasha very
I
well,
can,
probably, or you can
right.
speak Indonesian local languages, because I believe Sumatra. What is the language in Sumatra? What language do
Sumatra
they
is
speak
the
in
same.
Sumatra?
We call it Bahasa Indonesia. We
Bahasa
speak
Indo.
Indonesian, but like you say, I mentioned in the earlier, Indonesian is a very diverse ethnic group as well. So we are in the land where mostly Christian are living in North Sumatra. So they are the Bataks. We call it the Bataks ethnicity. So they have their own language as well. But
Wow.
between people, we speak all Indonesian.
So you had a very interesting childhood over there. So what was life like? I mean, what was your parental? I believe, was life very cushy, or there was hard work involved? Were you also helping the family in the family business? What were you doing
Yeah.
as a
So
young
yeah, I
child?
mean, it's up and down. I think from my family point of view. I mean, we are not poor. We are not. We are middle class, but sometimes my father is working at the area of lumber wood. Uh, Getting wood out of the forest and selling it to the sawmill or and then yes, as a children of the my father is most of frequently going to the forest in all the forest like 200, 300 kilometers away from our house, and then we'll stay there for 3, 4 months, and my mother is working as a teacher, English teacher in the school. And so sometimes we as the children has to help my fathers to to go to the forest to take care of stuff. And when we have, I still remember when we have school break, my mom would always take all of us going to the forest, and then we are going to the this a mess hall or a mess where all people live, all the workers live with my father. We are going to go there, and then we are going to my mom will try to clean up, to organize stuff for all these men that work
Oh
there,
my God.
and then the children is going to help there, and then it's really funny. And then we know that when we are in middle school, high school, we are going to go there to help my father to repair cars, to repair the tractors, to repair the trucks, and
Right.
all the stuff is we are growing up doing.
So, Budi, the question that comes in is very importantly here. What till what point were you educated in in Indonesia? Did you do your high school from there, or did you do your elementary and middle school from there in Sumatra? What was your level of education then in
So
the island of
I am
Indonesia?
I finished my high school in Indonesia, in Medan. So I'm going to the. I mean, this is a very interesting journey as well when we are in school, because when we are young, we are going to the more Chinese community school, and then where 90% of the students are Chinese. So and then on middle school, I asked my mom to, okay, I don't want to be here. I mean, this is we are living in Indonesia. We should more mix up with that, mix with the native community. So I asked her to assign me up to the Catholic school over there, where kind of 50-50, right? And then I go to middle school in Catholic school, and I go to high school in Catholic school as well. So I finished high school in Catholic school, and then which is a good experience. So we have a very diverse group of Chinese, Javanese, uh, the native Bataks people, and yeah. So I made a good friends, Indonesian friend, Chinese friend there at school as well. And then when I'm high school, I already know that I'm going to study out of the country. to have
Wow.
my education done.
Why
Uh,
was that a decision you made? Was that a decision you made, or was that a decision your parents made that you would no longer continue in Indonesia and study in
I guess
Indonesia?
this is the decision I think I made because of example of my parents. My parents had studied in outside the country as well. They went back to Taiwan to study in a university. So they always talk very well about their education in Taiwan and how they experience their life. So as a kids, for us, all this four brothers, I have three other brothers, and all of us, we like to experience those what my parents has experienced. So uh, of course, when you have kind of fun in Indonesia, the the country that you goes to study is mostly United States, because then
Hmm. But you went
but
to
we
Germany. But
but
you went to
yeah,
Germany.
I decided to go to gym because first of all, my family doesn't have that money to send me to America, right? And at that point, when I was in high school, the German, not the prime minister, the minister of technology is graduated from Germany, and he has done a lot of nice stuff in building technology up in Indonesia. So he kind of like a role model for a lot of uh, young people who is still in high school, and then
So the Indonesian Minister of Technology
yeah,
was a graduate from Germany who kind of became an inspiration to people such as you who were still
right,
coming out of high school that you would like to
right,
go. But you did not know German because Indonesia, if I'm not mistaken, was called as East
yeah,
Indies.
sure,
And East Indies was because the Dutch had come there and the Dutch
right,
had, kind of governed Indonesia
hmm,
and that portion. And that's why it was called East Indies, because West Indies was in Caribbean, East Indies was in the archipelago of Indonesia,
right,
and
yeah,
you'd have probably known Dutch better, and you decided to go to Germany
yeah.
and not go to
So
Netherlands. So what was that all about?
since I know that I was going to Germany since I was second year of high school, I do take a German course. So from local teachers, it's a local teacher, which of course has a limited knowledge as well. So I do have I have to apply for a place in university in Germany before even I can travel over there. So you have to pass at least the grammar of the German language and some uh, initial test to be accepted. So I passed those. So imagine this: you are learning a language that no one speak of in in the
In the local
areas.
country, either
So and
either
then
they
you
speak
just
Bhasha, either they speak Bhasha or they speak Dutch, or they
yeah,
speak the local dialect of the island. And here you are
yeah,
learning German in a country
right.
where
So
nobody speaks
no,
German.
no one
Okay.
speak German. It is so interesting. So I thought I know German. When I studied for 2 years, I thought I was German. I passed the examination from University of Germany. So I then I traveled to Germany. Uh, my older brother, was already in Germany, but so he was busy, and then I was when I was going to Germany, I made a promise to my parents: just give me the initial start, what you can give me, and then I take care of those. When
How old were you? How old
I
were you?
was 18.
How much money did you take with you from Indonesia to go to Germany?
My parents has scrambled up about 5,000 US dollar. So
5,000 US dollars. In which year is this? Which year is this?
that was in 1998, I think. No. I'm
19,
sorry, 1980s, 1987.
1987.
Right.
1987, you get an initial start with $5,000 to come to Germany.
Right.
You
So
have
yeah.
you land up over there saying, I don't want anything more from you. That will pay
Right.
for your education and for your housing. What is the name of the city that you landed
Oh,
up
I
in?
was land in Munich because that's where I was accepted in the university. So the funny thing is, when I arrived here, people start to talk to me, German people, I cannot even understand what they are saying. I mean, even it's as simple as "What's your name?"
Sprechen Sie
Yeah,
Deutsch? Sprechen Sie
French,
Deutsch?
Deutsch, or what? Something like this, something simple. Do you speak German? I cannot even understand because I never hear this language spoken anywhere else. So it was just a surprise to me that it's so difficult. So, but then, after a week, you get listen to all this German. I'm staying with, initially I'm staying at apartment with friends, and just until I'm settling, they are helping me to get a room and things. Uh, so, when you're in Germany, you are have a time. You have to go to the another test to go into the for all the foreigners to study in Germany, they give you the chance to 1 year to adapt to their school system. We call it a student colleague. So you have to write another test again to enter the student colleague. So I passed those, and then from that point on, I have a way to stay in the student dormitory. Um, they are teaching the colleague, or what call it, the college here, the 1 year consists of every day's 4 hour language, German language, 4 hours, and then they also teach you math, teach you physics, just to bring yourself to the level of the German university before you start university. So that was very very helpful for us foreigners studying in Germany, because then in
So
that 1 year,
eins,
time
zwei,
so
drei, vier, fünf, six,
right,
sieben, and you learned all of that from scratch, and you learned how to even understand physics
right,
lessons, lessons in chemistry, possibly in math, all being
math,
taught to you in.
physics, yeah. So all in German, so you know all these words when you are studying in the in university.
What degree did you pick up in German?
Mechanical engineering and industrial engineering.
And now today you are an EPA engineer and a design chief, literally in what you do. So what you
Right.
learned there is, what do you do now? Before we go any further, I just want to draw the connection between what
I'm
you got
working for a German
educated in Germany.
company, right? I'm working for a German company that produce novels.
So I'm going to take you back to Germany now because I wanted to. So you did a double major and you did it in industrial engineering and mechanical engineering. But I know, knowing you so well, that you ended up also working on computers and computer
Right.
support, because there's a
Yes.
story associated with that we will go to.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
did you
yeah.
land up
Okay.
from being a mechanical engineer to a
Right.
computer support specialist? What happened there?
So one thing that is interesting in Germany is that when you study, you are giving the chance to work side uh, to be beside your study. You can work like so, and I end up so my experience to, like I say, I have that initial fun, and then after that I have to take care of myself, right? So I'm working at a restaurant, Japanese restaurant. I know how to cook Japanese food from all those things experience. I work at I work at Siemens. I work at a uh, during the break. Germany has a 3 month break in summers that you can work as a student and earn money to start to use it for the time when you are studying. So I end up is working on the assembly lines in BMW.
You
I
worked
end
for
up,
BMW as well. You worked for
yeah, just
BMW.
as a
In
hard workers,
Correct.
assembly
And
tires, assembly door. So
in
so
in
that is very
Bavaria,
a low
in
level.
in Bavaria Motorwerken,
Right.
in Bavaria
It's a low
Motorwerken.
level workers at that point, as a, first, second year of student, you're just doing all these jobs where all these workers, in August, all the workers in Germany go vacation. So the factory is all empty. All students come in to take all these job, and that, which is a good opportunities for the student to learn all practical things as well. So I work at Siemens, at BMW, at a different uh, German company, and also I found a job as a, answering the phone for us, for a
Call
company
center.
just
In the call center.
goes and start up as a, as a break away from the Technical University of Munich. So they are actually in the area of optimizing steel making processes. At that point, okay, I answer the phone, and then since I'm very curious about stuff, so I always asking, what are you guys doing and things. They are doing so a lot with computer optimization and calculation and things. So I learned a lot about computering as well. I mean, a lot of software, a lot of hardware of the computer, how to fix it and everything. So
And that
now,
is very important because that led to a very big thing happening in your life.
right,
A particular young lady calls up and wants some help, if I'm not mistaken, and there you
right.
are. And what is that
So
story with the young lady who calls up and you impressing her? And what does she mean to you today? Tell us that story. You
so
were in Germany, and who's this
right. I
lady?
was in Germany. I was working, and then I have a common friends. One of my friends in Italy called me and say, "Hey, I have a problem with my computer. So I have a friend here that can explain to you what she's doing." So I say, "Okay, let me see what I can do. What can I do to help?" So and then this girl come on the phone, and I said, "Oh, who are you?" And so I said, "Oh, see, my name is Sylvia. I have some problem here that maybe you can help." So I said, "Okay, sure, I can help." So so
You've
I
never
helped
seen us.
her.
There was no video. There was no video phone.
No
It's only
video,
a
it's
voice.
just a conversation call. So I can imagine all the screen. I can say, okay, now you are here. You have to press this, press it, press it. So they fix their problem. And then I think she becomes impressed. And then she
So what
comes
happened with
to,
that lady? What
and
happens
then
to that lady who got
she is
impressed with you?
actually my wife now.
So this is a moment that I people should note that if you're good, it doesn't matter whether you're from Indonesia or whether you don't know Italian or you don't know enough German. Just the fact that you can hold a conversation on a phone, an Italian
Right.
lady likes you and decides that she's going to live with you for the rest of her life. Am I right in saying
That's
that?
that's crazy, right? How can you think about that, right? So after that, I mean, I think 2 weeks after that, and then she called me. I called. I'm coming to Munich just to see the city. Just can you just show me around? I said, sure. I'll pick you up in the station, in the train station. So she
Oh,
came, and then I pick her up, and then we have spent a wonderful day together. And I saw her Munich, and so she stayed
how
for a couple of days, and then she
how
ended up
many
staying
people
for a
can
month.
how many people can say this that a conversation on the phone can lead to a romance that can lead to marriage? And
Yeah,
that too, not only between adjacent countries, but literally Italy to Germany with an Indonesian guy, just
right,
on the
right,
basis of
right.
a phone call. Just on the basis of a phone call.
Yeah. Amazing stories, actually. I mean, I never can imagine that it will happen that way. I mean, even maybe I will know somebody from Germany, or a girl from Germany, or things, but not somebody that I never seen on the phone and comes, and then we start that relationship that way. But it has been a quite. I mean, we are now married for more than 23 years.
I'd like our viewers to note that the true grit is here that back at home in Indonesia, a kid who was bullied for being of a particular ethnicity, still faces things and does what he needs to and determines that he's going to go to Germany to become an engineer, learns a language that isn't even common to or spoken in a place like Indonesia because they speak Dutch, Bahasa, or they speak the local language, but he learns German. He passes the exams to go over to Munich. He joins university, learns German again in order to understand physics, chemistry, mathematics, works on summertime with BMW, Siemens, and what have you, glorious companies that people would die to work for. becomes a call center operator, runs into a computer problem with a woman or a young lady in Italy, and that Italian lady is impressed by his fixing of a computer and decides to visit him in Italy, and he manages to kind of get that converted into romance and make her his wife for 23 years. This is like a
Yeah.
Hindi movie, an Indian Bollywood movie. This only is
Yeah.
seen in Bollywood movies where
I
these
should
things
write a
happen.
script for those.
So, did you learn music for her? Because I know you are also very capable in playing guitar as well as piano and playing it very well. Did you learn it
Yeah,
for
I
her or did
learned
you know it?
piano when I was young. I learned piano when I was young for 2 years. My mom insists of sending me to learn piano. So I'll learn. I have learned piano at home in Indonesia for 2.5 years, and
And where did you learn
but then
guitar? Where do you learn
in
guitar?
guitar, because in guitar I learned it from in Germany, because as a student you have a lot of free time too when you don't work. So I pick up guitar with friends, sing together, and then learn slowly to play guitar. So whenever
Can I
it becomes an enjoyment for me. So
can I
whenever I
invite you
have
to play?
time.
Can I invite you to play something
Now, oh gosh,
now? Right now?
right now. So
I'd love
I
to.
don't know. Let me grab my guitar.
Please get your guitar. Ladies and gentlemen, as Budi goes and gets his guitar, and I can see he's got some wine bottles right behind him. Uh, I've known Budi for a while. He is an amazing piano player. I have heard him playing Imagine by John Lennon. Budi, you got a guitar now. Take it away, my friend. Play something for us.
Okay. Starry, starry in your palette, blue and green, on the summer's day, the colors falling, shadows on the hills, until I never knew, in the jewels of colors, the inland. Now I understand what you try to say to me, how you suffered for your sanity, but you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they listen now.
Beautiful.
So
Don
that's now.
McLean. If I'm not mistaken, Don McLean, Starry, Starry Nights.
Right. So that's the first
Beautiful.
verse.
Yes. I know you're very passionate about cooking, you're very passionate about music, and you are you're also a builder. You actually build things around the house, you build patios, you build bathrooms, you keep remodeling things. How do you manage all this along with your day career, which is engineering, working on design for EPA, for nozzles, and what have you? how do you manage all this? How do you balance your life out between cooking? I know you're passionate about it. Music is your very big passion, and as well as doing all these things around the house where you what is the secret mantra? How do you manage to do all that?
I guess it's just the all this music, cooking, at home things. Mostly, it's just like a balance to my work. I mean, I just spend the 8 hours, 9 hours, concentrate things at work. I just need to release all of those. I think into something in a different area, and so cooking is kind of relaxing me. And then I mean, if you eat a good food, you just have joy. And then you have, if you music is, like you say, is always one of the my greatest passion. If I'm not a mechanical engineer, I think I'm going to be a musician. So
Really?
yeah, learning to play music is something really bring joy to myself. Even enjoying it playing. I mean, my kids will can tell you how I disturb them every Saturday morning, Sunday morning. When I start after breakfast, I will play music. And I will say, "Stop it! Don't do it anymore." So yeah, music, and then all the stuff at home, because I think uh, I'm I'm good with my hand as well, working and stuff. I think I can do it. Sometimes it's just a challenge for me to just, okay, I can do this as well. So it just, give me some satisfaction uh, to
So Budi,
accomplish.
life has been very good to you in terms of, knock on wood, a beautiful story of how you progressed from an island out in the Java Sea, or in the what is called as the Indonesian archipelago, to how you've landed up into the US. But there have been also a lot of learnings that you've had. What are the learnings that you could share for our viewers and also for the younger generation? Because yours has been a story of learning, relearning, learning something new, doing something different, adding on.
I think
What
one of the
is
things that is important is always to keep a very positive mindset in all what you are doing. I mean, the journey that I'm doing until today is not always the nice and a smooth journey. At times, when I was studying in Germany, sometimes I was worried that I don't have enough to eat in one next week or next month. But you cannot be discouraged with these kind of things. You have to just believe that something good will come, and then you have to, just be consistent, and then be stubborn about what you want. And just by being stubborn or being hardworking, it changes a lot of things, because people around you will notice that you are serious about your things, and that will encourage people to help you to go on your way. So you have to believe that in hard work, in your goal, what you want to achieve, and then always keep an open mind, because to learn all these new things, you have to have an open mind, even in an adverse situation. I mean, not always your environment or people you meet is always encouraging you. I can, but you still cannot be discouraged about those.
very
I
true?
see a lot of some friends of mine from Indonesia, from other countries. Uh, if they are, you know, you are also a foreigners in Germany. Germany is also a very closed society that you really difficult to enter into their circle. But so a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm just going to study here, go back, and then forget about all this bad experience." But that doesn't bring you anything. You have to be always stay open, and then say, "Okay, hey, this is not. This is you just have to break that barrier open." And
Beautiful,
so
beautiful.
this is, I think, my advice: believe in yourself, work hard, and always be open about what things that comes around, and then always look at the positive side of it, and not always not complain about stuff because
So, ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking to Budi Francesco. The story starts in Medang in the island of Sumatra. As we heard him, young child, went through his own struggles, you know, understanding where he was growing up between the two communities, even got bullied, even got actually thrown off his bike and, stoned and probably beaten up, but not making that really affect him. Would all go out into the forest to help his father out, who was in the lumber business, and then father would be out for 2 to 3 months at a time, in the forest collecting lumber to bring back. Made a determination that he was going to go and study engineering. He could have very well have carried on with the family business of lumber in Sumatra and life would have been okay. But he said, no,
yeah,
I'm going to go and do engineering in Germany. Learns German, which is not even taught in the country that he was living or where he was born. Goes to another country, does it well, learns it, gets to do jobs in companies like Siemens, BMW, also a computer firm where he gets a phone call from a young lady who gets smitten by his ability to fix a computer and who visits Germany into Munich. And they've been married now for 23 years. I have only seen that happen in Bollywood movies where just on a phone call, a lady falls in love and, comes in over and decides to give up everything from her life immediately to become a part of his life in the United States. And he is a EPA. He's a design chief or design engineer in a company that manufactures nozzles for EPA products as well as for the steel industry and what have you. But he's a great cook, a fantastic musician, a builder. He can build things. All in all, an individual with a complete personality, with a can do attitude and a true grit in terms of not letting life take him down, welcoming life, dealing with life, absorbing things from life, and saying, I'm going to move on and I'm going to flow with life. Did I
yeah,
capture your journey appropriately in 3 or 4 or 5 sentences, Budi?
yeah. You just have to be stubborn.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure welcoming Budi Francesco on the show today. Budi, any parting thoughts for us? Any last minute thoughts that you have for us before we say goodnight to you?
No, I mean, I have been thankful about my life, about the people that around me that support me. My wife has support me uh, fully with all our journey. So we support each other, of course. And then I guess I wish for the listeners, I mean, can always take the lesson of all this conversation and say, okay, hey, things can always turn to be good if you believe in something, if you work hard, and don't be discouraged with the roadblocks. There is always a solution if you find it. Friends will be always there.
Beautiful,
So
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
that's
Thank you. Thank you
all.
so much. That's
Thank
what life
you.
is.
That's what life
Well,
is.
ladies and that's what life is. Ladies and gentlemen, wishing you all a great night, good or a pleasant morning, or a wonderful evening, depending on which part of the world you're in. We were in conversation with Budi Francesco, a multifaceted personality with his own true grit story. We look forward to hearing from Budi in terms of his musical talent. Wishing you a very pleasant night, Budi. Thank you so much for finding the time to be on the show with us. We hope to see you in another occasion with a purely musical talented, evening that we will spend with you. Have a
Okay.
great night.
Thanks for
Bye
having
bye.
me.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Budi.